Hello, adventurer. It's good to see you. You have made it to the morning grind.
Welcome, welcome.
It's the live stream at the beginning of the Geekverse, where we talk about all types of topics in geekdom, gaming, and fantasy, with an emphasis on being constructive and creating the things that we want to exist in the world.
It's all on the grind, Sizemore. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
That's exactly right. There are a lot of adventures to be had today. Dungeons to explore and monsters to slay, and who knows what a random encounter might send our way. That's why we have to prepare, so settle in now for the morning grind with your favorite beverage in hand.
Tea? Or maybe something a little stronger. I've got a few bottles of the old Wynyard left.
Whatever you want. Pull up a chair.
Dude.
If you're feeling fancy, how about a cappuccino? Or a frappuccino? Or how about an espresso?
Just tea, thank you.
Sounds good to me, Gandalf. Whatever you want. I'm just glad you're here.
Everyone is welcome. You can just watch if you want. You don't have to worship anything you don't want to worship.
Thank you, Mike. But be forewarned.
Sometimes we get really strange characters around here.
Wait, what's that you say? Why can't you come and be a part of the stream?
My wife would disown me.
Oh no, I bet she'll be fine with it. Come on in.
Am I scared for my safety? No.
What are we supposed to do?
Everybody do the secret handshake.
Secret cultist handshake.
Oh, now do wizards who love each other.
This, my friend, is a science.
I still don't have gifts, but it's fine.
It's all on the grind, son. Can't be too fine, can't be too coarse.
Dude, this would be a sick place to bring the band.
Indeed it would be, Dave. It really would. I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome. Glad to have you here. Oh, look, here's someone new.
Is this the cultist meetup?
Yes it is.
Come to hang out? Please accept me. I have nothing else.
Okay, we accept you. Everyone's welcome here.
Brought some snacks.
Well, that makes things even better.
You want some coffee? I don't drink coffee. You sure? It's cultist coffee. What makes it cultist coffee? I'm a cultist and I'm drinking it. Oh. Then I'll have some.
What exactly is going on here?
I'm seeing more people coming in. Welcome, welcome. It's so great to have you. Oh, and look, here comes another stranger.
Can we help you?
Yes, fellow cultists. I could really use some food.
Oh yeah? Welcome. We have donuts.
Oh, it's me. I'm glad I'm here. I'm sure you have a few questions for me, though.
What's your name? Who do you work for? What god do you worship?
Great questions, Rob.
I'm Steve King, and I worship Nyarlathotep.
No, not really. I'm just Heath, and I won't be worshiping anything this morning. But I will be your host. Welcome to the office. We're going to have a great time. I've got my coffee ready, because now it's time for the morning grind.
If you could become a fish, that would be amazing. Then I could command you with my mental fish powers.
Good morning, everyone. It is so good to see you here. It's Saturday morning. I hope everything's going well. Things are not going too terribly well over here as far as productivity and household maintenance. I'm gonna have to work on that. I do want to go, and I've got several things to do. I've got some big rocks I've got to move. I didn't get as much done yesterday as I would have liked. Progress was slow, but I do want to go see. I want to get these things done because I want to feel justified in going to see John Wick 4 tomorrow. Has anybody seen that? I want to talk about John Wick at some point on the show, whether it's a morning grind or whether it's a table talk or something like that. But I want to feel good about going and seeing a movie tomorrow. So, how are you doing today? So let's see. We got Draco here. Good morning, and Zero at the Blade. Greetings, George. Oh, Sable Phoenix is here and going to see John Wick 4 later today. So it seems like I'm hearing, or I have not watched anything about it. I haven't even watched trailers, I don't think. So I've just been, I just want to go into it blind. It seems like, though, when I've been seeing like stuff come by on YouTube, like we're just the thumbnails and things like that, that people are being positive about it. Hey, Micah. Good to see you. All right. So what are we doing today? Today we are finishing Mausritter, and well, that's what I seem to be hearing. That's what I seem to be hearing too, which is good. That's what I want. So we are going to be continuing to look at Mausritter. They seem to have done, if what I'm seeing, like what you're hearing, and what I'm seeing on thumbnails and things like that, is right, then they seem to have delivered, which is fantastic because it seems like we don't get as many great things like that. So I'm really hoping that's fantastic. Okay. Today we are going to continue looking at Mausritter. And the reason that we stopped was because basically yesterday, the reason we stopped yesterday is because it had some great material in our hex crawling and stuff like that. And we were about to get to this point, which is Adventurer Site Toolbox, which is right here. I'll bring this up. And we had just been enjoying so many other things that the game was doing that we didn't want to just rush through this, or I didn't want to just rush through it. So I was like, all right, we'll do one more day here on Mausritter just to see what the structure of the Adventure Site Toolbox is and what it's recommending. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today. Hopefully, there's stuff that we can adapt from this as well, because the hex crawling stuff, there's been so much I think that can be adapted. I forget who it was. It might have been Mike Hansford who was talking about, well, there seems to be a lot of stuff that could be adapted in Mausritter to like an advanced Hero Quest style game. And I think he's right. That could be a lot of fun to do that as well. So everybody got your drink with you? I got my drink this morning. I got Mountain Dew Zero. I didn't make coffee this morning. I drink a bit less coffee as it starts to get warmer. So we will see. All right. So I've got my drink here this morning. So I've got it. Let's breathe. 2 deep breaths. Deep breaths, complete exhales, and then we'll all take a sip of our favorite beverage this morning. So here we go. All right. All right. Sounds good. All right. Adventure Site Toolbox. Adventure sites are those dangerous places that only the bravest of mouse adventurers dare to scurry. They form the core of most Mausritter adventures. Designing a good adventure is more art than science, but these steps will help as a basic guide. In this game, you did start off at an adventure site, which I actually think is a good idea. I was thinking about that in terms of Knave, because I was like, well, okay, so what are you going to be doing? You're going to be going on a dungeon crawl, but you got to get to the dungeon first. And you could have people decide what dungeon you're going to go to first and then start a hex crawl before you get there, which generally I like. But another thing you could do is do what Mausritter does and say, all right, you just start at your first dungeon. And then you're going to have to get back, and then you're going to have to get to your next dungeon. Dare to scurry. Yes. I like that too. Lots of flavor here. Okay, so create a theme. The theme of the adventure site is the overall idea that guides its creation. And I did really like the cyclical dungeon design that we looked at. I was trying to figure out how that could be. I really liked that. I'm glad that we went through that. That was more useful than the AD&D dungeon guide. So maybe if we got the cyclical dungeon generation, I highly recommend you check that one out if you haven't already. So if you go through cyclical dungeon generation, maybe there's stuff in here that we can add to. Think of it like the title card and one-sentence description that will guide the rest of your choices. Choose factions and goals. A good adventure site will be populated with at least 2 factions of creatures. These are not necessarily the factions working at your hexcrawl level, though they should inform your choices. The factions should have competing goals that they are trying to achieve with the adventure site. Not all of the creatures within the adventure site will be part of these factions. I do like this intro. So we do have this little image down here. So we do have a very mouse-like, mouse-sized, like, dungeon or tomb here. One of the factions in the site may already be clear from rolling the denizens of the adventure site overview. The other factions could be protecting the site from that faction or competing for a similar goal. Draw or find a map in the location, then divide it into rooms. These can be actual rooms or just sensible dividing lines within a larger space. The map doesn't have to be pretty, detailed, or to scale. You can just draw rooms with boxes and connect them with lines. Keep these principles in mind when creating a map. Multiple paths. Give the players decision points while navigating the space. Create loops and links to other paths. Varied paths. Create distinct areas within the site. Stairs, ramps, and cliffs break up the flow of a level and create more variety when navigating the space. Secret paths reward players who are paying close attention. Multiple entrances and even hidden ones create opportunities to approach problems from a different angle. History and ruination have dramatic impacts on space. Hint at changes left by previous inhabitants. Now, one thing about this game is that it is not using close, near, far, like some of these others that we've been looking at recently. It was talking about how far they can travel in about like 6 inches worth of space. So we'll see if they end up putting this on squares or not. Hey, Zero Theory. And I want to look at that. They're telling you to jackways the dungeon. They're telling you to. I want to look at that. In fact, we might have to do that next, since we're kind of on a dungeon theme here. Stock rooms. For each room within the adventurer site, roll or choose the type and contents. A good adventure site will provide a diverse set of challenges through a variety of room types. Some rooms will be obvious, just go and see with what seems right. Others will need some random prodding. Create an encounter table. Based on the factions you've chosen and the room stocked, create a table of D6 encounters for the adventure site. Encounters can be dangerous, but not necessarily hostile to the player mice. Give each entry something it is already doing as the players arrive. Entries 1 to 3 should be variations of a common encounter. Entries 4 to 5 should be variations of an uncommon encounter, something slightly unusual. And then entry 6 should be a strange or dangerous encounter. So here is our adventure site theme. An ancient bat cult. The bat cult has come up quite a bit. Long abandoned watchtower, noble mouse's country manor, burial site of ancient mice, warren dug by rabbits or foxes. Human house or other building, massive tree carved out by mice, wizard's mill, settlement's grain mill, skeleton of a great beast, witch's academy, natural cave, D6 ruination, flooding, magical mishap, age and rot, human destruction, overrun by mold, shifted between realms, internal warfare, the denizens, inhabitants, mice driven mad or desperate, mice magically altered. Sable Phoenix says, well, bats are just mice with wings. At least that's what Poison Ivy and Catwoman have told Batman. Well, that may be why that comes up in here. That could be it. Good morning, Brent. Ghostly spirits, fairy advanced guard. Search, so D8, the inhabitants. Okay, so we could have ghostly spirits that are searching for or protecting a cache of fine food, or a fairy advanced guard searching for or protecting an ancient valuable artwork. Rare alchemical mushrooms, a vast horde of pips. The secret here, monolith humming with arcane energy, preserved precursor beast, signs of human experimentation, forgotten grave of an ancient queen, path into the veins of the earth. Okay, this is randomly stocking rooms. To randomly stock a room on an adventure site, roll a d6 3 times. The first result shows the room type. The second shows if a creature is present. The third shows if treasure can be found there. So room type, empty, obstacle, trap, puzzle, or lair. D6 creature. Okay, so I guess this is saying that if it's empty, then on the roll of a 1, 2, or 3, there will be a creature. I wonder what the X means yes or the X means no. The X probably means yes, because the layer, you've got a high chance, I would say. Okay, so that probably means yes. So creature, you get a creature on an obstacle on a roll of a 1 or a 2, and then treasure, is there treasure there? Yeah, so layers and puzzles would have high uh, likelihoods of treasure. Oh my gosh, they reference veins of the earth? Oh, here we go. Path into the veins of the earth. Dude, mice getting into the veins of the earth would be horrific. I don't know what that is. Oh, that's from the Lamentations of the Flame Princess? Okay, we got to look at that one soon, too, because this is just coming up so much. So, Veins of the Earth. 2017, any nomination for Best Monster Adversary, Best Rules, Best Writing, and Product of the Year. In the deepest point of the dungeon, behind the throne, behind the rooms where the battles took place, after everything is done and the enemy is dead, there's a crack. A black empty space where the walls join the stone floor, 1.5 feet high and 3 feet wide, and 3 wide. A breeze comes out. You'll never notice it. You'd never notice it. You could lie on your belly and fit inside. It never ends. Okay. So now we know. Yeah, I've mentioned it before. It's an absolutely awesome supplement for Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Maybe that one needs to. That one comes up so often. Maybe we need to advance that one in the list over here. Although 10 candles is also a great idea. I almost did 10 candles, but I just felt like doing Mausritter when we started this a few days ago. Okay, creatures. The creatures used in your adventure site should be populated from the factions you've already chosen, but don't be afraid to include some other creatures too. Creatures not in a layer should have a reason for being in the room where they are found. Not in a layer. And a layer is a room type. Treasure. Valuable treasure is rarely left lying around. It may be defended, lost, hidden, or lost. Keep in mind where it came from and what left it there, and may miss it if taken. Page 38 for treasure hoard creation tables. Empty rooms. Empty rooms provide mice a chance to catch their breath and prepare for the next challenge. Obstacles. Obstacles are a barrier that must be bypassed by players to continue. Use up player resources, highlight special equipment, or push them to explore further. Traps should be obvious and deadly. A good trap has a clear danger and multiple non-obvious solutions. Consider the purpose the trap was built for and how it is navigated by other creatures to the site. If the players use a risky method to bypass the trap, call for a save or lucky roll. Puzzles. Puzzles reward clever thinking, give the players something to explore and experiment with. This could be a dangerous device, but the players are able to exploit it for their own purposes. So empty room feature, mess of tables and chairs, rotting pile of acorns, uneven and deeply cracked floor, white quartz altar, snake skull doorway. Wow. So room type, pick a roll or pick from these tables for the contents of a room or invent your own. So obstacles that suggest things like steep climb without special equipment, mice risk exhaustion or falling. Caved in section of the tunnel leaving a gap too small to crawl through. Tunnel completely filled with water. Trap, D8. Dark room filled with noxious explosive gas. Distinct smell of rotten eggs. D20 damage if ignited. That's a lot. Pit blocking the way. A snake is asleep at the bottom. Circle of enchanted mushrooms with a young mouse inside. Those within try desperately to get others to enter. Floor is covered in sticky glue. Requires strength save to break a foot loose. Puzzles include things like, now, puzzles are often difficult to get right. Traps are often difficult to get right too because they can slow things down. Puzzles are often hard to get right too as well. Zero Theory says 10 candles would be a short one. Lamentations of the Flame Princess is on the risque side, but you're pretty comfortable with that. And actually, Trey G was talking about that, and there is a free version of it without imagery, without the illustrations, and he said actually that one would be a good one for YouTube, I guess, for that reason. When you loathe gold for its weight and judge your wealth by a circle of lit rock and count yourself lucky, then you will know you have entered the veins of the earth. Flame Princess is only risque if you're reading the Grindhouse edition. The rules themselves without art. Oh yeah, are free to download. So that's what Trey was talking about. Yeah, Mike says at that size, a button off a magic cloak would make a magic shield, or a needle to sew a magic cloak or robe would make a foil. Oh, I like that idea, because we do have the button. The button was used as a shield in some of the illustrations. But if you could have a button off of a magic cloak or something like that, that would be fun. That's what would make the magic shield. And I think that in some of those, the weapons have been like a needle anyway, so it would be like a foil for the mice. Micah says, true enough, from what little I've played, though, some supplement materials also have more risque art. On one had a wild magic entry that turned the PC temporarily into something like female Baphomet. We'll have to see about it. We will have to see about it. So lair, temporary encampment recently taken from another creature, built by mice to hold the creature, protecting young, permanent home, newly settled. Treasure. When placing a treasure hoard, roll to see what it holds. Roll d20 twice on the treasure table, plus an additional d20 for each of the following questions that are true. In a former mouse settlement, castle, or dungeon, in a highly magical area, defended by a great beast or devious trap, the mice overcame great adversity to find it. So here are treasure tables. Magic sword, random spell, roll for trinket, roll for valuable treasure, roll for unusual treasure, large treasure, useful treasure, box containing d6 times 100 pips, d6 times 50 pips, a purse containing d6 times 10 pips, loose scattering of d6 times 5 pips. So trinkets include things like ghost lantern, casts a light that banishes ghosts, speaking shells, one speaks what the other hears, breathing straw, a tube that always contains air. Bat cultist's dagger grants passage into sanctum. Magic beans grow fully in d6 turns. A working human device, make up something fun. Tip, of all the subtables except for magic and magic swords, use a d6. So roll 1d6 for each d20 rolled, as a big handful of dice to quickly generate the treasure hoard. Valuable treasure, a wheel of finely aged cheese. Silver chain, jeweled pendant, gold ring, polished diamond, string of pearls. Zero Theory says, yeah, the modules get pretty nuts, but that's my sort of nuts. Flame Princess is pretty vanilla OSR, really, but the adventures and supplements are absolutely stunning. Death, Frost, Doom, Veins of the Earth, Frostbitten and Mutilated, Vornheim, etc. Some of the best stuff ever written for OSR comes from Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Huh. I'm definitely curious. Was a colonial North America setting supplement, forgot the name, was definitely fun, though. Quality of art was great, played well, though definitely not for younger audiences. Ancient Mouse Throne, Ancient Mouse Statue, Unusual Treasure, a bundle of pungent herbs, odd-colored dried mushrooms, eerily glowing stone, legal documents granting rights to the holder, useful treasure, d6 packs of rations, well-preserved, d6 bundles of torches, mundane weapon, mundane armor, utility item, lost mouse, willing to help. Magic swords. Magic swords only mark usage when a 6 is rolled. They can be repaired by a highly skilled blacksmith or by an unusually practical-minded wizard, a service that will require payment greater than simply pips. I was thinking about the usage of the weapons. So we're marking them here, but we were also marking them in Knave. Yeah, we had item degradation in Knave. I can't remember if we had it in Cairn or not. But we had calculated that you're only going to be able to use an item, 60 times? Because you actually were running out of those items pretty fast. Like on a 1, you were reducing its quality, right? It seems like that's something that we could do some simulations on. Because that's one way that do playtesting is to just simulate a whole bunch of combats and dungeon delving and things like that and see what happens. Because that may be, I don't have a great intuitive kind of notion about now how many swings with a sword. Like, shouldn't I get more than 60 swings with a sword? So maybe there should be some type of item save. On the roll of a 1, your item's got to make a save of some kind. And some items have a higher saves or lower saves than others. Maybe something that is cheap as a very unlikely save. But anyway, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about adding some type of item save based on quality. Now, of course, it was doing quality by the number of actual save or number of times that it can be degraded. But a lot of that was standard anyway. So you could have, low quality have much more difficult saves. To make higher qualities or weapons are more likely to make their saves. And then see, now how many times do you actually get to swing a sword or something like that? Giant gold wristwatch. Love the flavor of this too. Oh, lost mouse willing to help as treasure. That's genius. I've never seen that anywhere. I haven't either. Kind of like old henchman minion, except in thanks for helping. Except in thanks for helping them stop being lost instead of paying for them. Yeah. So weapon class 1 to 4 medium, D6 and one paw, D8 both paws. Light D6 one paw can be dual wielded, or 6 heavy D10 that's damage both paws. Oh, so that's damage in one paw or wielded with 2 swords. Wrought iron. While wielded, you roll critical damage saves with advantage. Intricate fey design. While wielded, you may disguise yourself as any mouse-sized creature. Water-worn glass. While wielded, can hold breath underwater for 1 turn. Wolf tooth. Critical damage. Your next attack is enhanced. Here's a sewing needle. Silver sewing needle. Critical damage. Clear all usage dots from a non-spell item in your inventory. Rusted nail. Critical damage. Give a frightened condition. Snake fang. D6 damage to dex on critical damage. Congealed or thorny rose stem. Critical damage, remove a condition. Congealed shadow. While wielded, you're invisible while standing perfectly still. Toy soldier's saber. If you lead a warband, they have +1 armor. Magic swords have a 1 in 6 chance of being cursed. Cursed swords bind them to a mouse who first holds them and cannot be removed from the mouse's inventory. While the curse remains, the sword has no beneficial power. Once lifted, the sword regains its power. So curse, this is probably going to be good. D6 curse. So the roll could be reaction rolls are made with a -1 modifier, and it's lifted by making a selfless sacrifice in a life or death situation. Or spells cast in your presence always mark usage, and it's lifted by giving away everything you own, no cheating. Or critical damage saves with disadvantage, and that's lifted by fulfilling a mouse's dying wish. Zero the Blade says, this reminds me of some Fire Emblem games where weapon durability comes into play and can be a pain. Sable Phoenix says, I love that weapons and armor are just classified in light, heavy. So elegant. This game's definition of elegance. Yeah, the curses are vicious, and getting them lifted isn't easy, is it? Definitely reminds me, Micah says, of how Household was inspired by stuff like Borrowers and the Littles, by like the Borrowers and the Littles for items. I like it. So actually, so that was our dungeon generation. We do have a sample adventure site here. How much time have we got? We've still got plenty of time. So here is a sample adventure site. What's going on here? I like this. I mean, this is very evocative. What's going on here? The mice of Oak Grove are worried about their friends and cousins in Stumpville after the village's usually reliable delivery of cheese failed to arrive on market day. Unbeknownst to the players, the mice of Stumpville have been kidnapped by dead rats as a gift for the cat lord Balthazar. The rats are holding the villagers in their secret hideout to the north until the trade can be made. Will the players solve the mystery and find where the villagers have been taken? Can they rescue the mice in time? Let's play to find out. So, okay, so actually lots of things to roll for here. So I was like, so is this an adventure? So this is an adventure site. So it's not like there's not a whole lot to like spoil here. So the way they have this set up, they've got encounters over here. We do have, okay, so entry tunnel over here. There looks like there's another way in over here. Underneath two elegantly intertwined roots. Carts and footmarks on the muddy ground. Mousetrap just inside the entrance, marked with a rat skull. Lever of trap is wired to a large boulder in the wall. Trap baited with wheel of cheese. Tunnel to main gate. Main gate. Twin guardian statues by the gate defaced. Gate is a massive slab of iron. Iron handle in center. Hinges of gate have been chiseled away and wooden pegs knocked in behind it. Mousetrap on the other side, rigged to tip the door forward if handle turned. Handle into courtyard. So we do have a cheese factory here. So that's what they're supposed to make. Cheese aging cave, cool, dark, and quiet. Rows of cheese aging on shelves. 6 wheels of fine cheese. Roll 2 times for treasure in chest at the end of the cave. Ernie, a dead rat, is sleeping off a food coma. So useful tables. Actually, so maybe that's just it. Well, player mice, non-player mice, social position, and payment for service. Birth sign with disposition. Appearance, quirk, wants, relationship. So this is, I guess this is like non-player mice. Okay, so maybe this is different from that location. Sable Phoenix says the curses are so much better than what you get in 5e. Even better than your typical curse in 2nd E or 3.5. Plus 5e curses are so easy to remove. Micah says, very simple description, but perfect for getting to the point and letting the GM expand instead of taking a lot of space with fluff. As much as I like the fluff, for just seeing an example, it works. Ironically, mice and rats don't actually prefer to eat cheese. They'll just eat it if nothing else is available or they've been deprived of food for some reason. So adventure seeds spark inspiration for adventure. Roll once and read across, or roll individually for each column and combine. So an ale brewer experienced an unsettling omen and they're dying. Seasons, poor weather. While traveling in highlighted weather, make strength save or gain an exhausted condition. So we did see weather here, spring and summer. Seasonal event, flooding washes away an important landmark. Mother bird very protective of her eggs. This is, I guess, something that happens, like some event that happens on the hex level. Seasonal event during summer, a baby bird fallen from nest. Swarm of lotus destroy a settlement's crops. So rules, references, best practices, ask lots of questions, make notes, draw maps. Work together, devise schemes, recruit allies. Dice are dangerous. Clever plans don't need to roll. Play to win, delight in losing. Fight dirty, run, die. Roll a new mouse. So I guess in summary, so we remember, D20, strength, dex, and will, those are all saves, though. They're not things to do things. They are things to avoid danger. Opposed save, both save, lowest value wins. Advantage, when making a save from a strong position, roll 2d20 and take the lowest result. When making a save from a weakened position, take the highest result. Because you are trying to roll under here. So that's why it says advantage, take the lowest result. At disadvantage, take the highest result. Because you remember we generated a number between 2 and 12 for each one of our stats. 3d6, take the 2 or drop the lowest and add the other 2 together. When an attribute is reduced by damage, roll d20 equal to or under the reduced value. Says, yes, that's why it's so elegant. That's why I back Shadow Dark too. This brevity is part of the elegance of the system. Gives us a spark, hook that sparks the imagination. As a DM, I love to improvise based on players' actions. That's the most fun. And a simple sentence you can riff off of is the best way to create something. Oh, magic. So this is how magic works. You invested D1 to 3 power up to the number of unused slots on that spell. Roll D6 for each power invested. Mark usage for each die that rolled a 4, 5, or 6. The spell effect happens using both a combination of the number of dice that you rolled and the sum of all of the dice. I liked that. Mishap. For every 6 roll, take D6 will damage. Make a will save again. Gain drained condition if failed. Combat. On your turn, move and take an action. Surprise. If enemy is surprised, you go before them. If enemy is not surprised, make a dex save to act first. Attacks. Roll your weapon's die and deal that much damage to an enemy minus its armor. If an attack is impaired, go to D4. If it's enhanced, go to D12. Damage. Deal to HP first. Once HP is depleted, take damage to strength. After strength damage, make a strength save. On a failure, take an injured condition and become incapacitated. So that's why anything can take you out. If it gets through your HP, that's your HP use hit protection. You take damage to strength. Any excess damage to strength. After taking strength damage, make a strength save immediately. If you fail, get the injured condition and become incapacitated. If strength is reduced to 0 or you're incapacitated for 6 turns, you are dead. After combat, roll D6 for each weapon, ammunition, and armor used. On 4 to 6, mark usage. See, at least this is by combat. Well, I'll have to think about how that goes too. Some of those have like 3, right? Like your weapon. See, ammunition I can understand because some of the ammunition you might recover. I suppose that's the simple way it does that. Like, why would you expend ammunition, but it wouldn't be used? I guess because you were able to recover it. I want to talk more about ammunition later, after combat. But on a weapon, that's not how many particular strikes you get, although it doesn't seem like combat's going to be lasting all that long. That's whether or not it tears up your weapon. But these weapons are things like needles and things like that. Rest. Short turn. So we have short, long, and full rests. Short, take a turn, restore 1d6 plus HP. So you're supposed to be getting your HP back fairly regularly. Now, that's not your attribute scores. It takes a long rest. It takes a watch. Restore all HP. If HP is full, restore d6 to an attribute score. But a full rest takes a week, fully restores HP and attribute scores. Sable Phoenix says, honestly, if I looked at this before backing Shadow Dark, I would have just said, well, Shadow Dark is equal to Mausritter. Micah says, yeah, exactly. One of the reasons I did as well, I definitely want the Farid system to have a balance between some fluff and cultures, etc., but more brief like this. Sable Phoenix says, it's not entirely accurate, but the elegance of the system is the same. Yeah, that's not the mechanics of the system are not the same. You actually roll to do stuff in Shadow Dark. Hey, Stargate. Sable Phoenix says, damn, this system is so cool. The saves, the rests, everything, straightforward and memorable. Easy to implement and make sense. Wow. How is this not the benchmark for OSR? Maybe they shot themselves in the foot by going the anthropomorphic animal route, but damn, this is good stuff. But there's nothing that would stop them, like from, if they, I mean, you could completely just rewrite it, extract the rules from it, and, I mean, use it for anything. We need like the Mausritter OGL. What's actually the rule system? Although this rules reference right here, I mean, that's basically it, right? So, well, maybe it does appear simpler than usual. Is there anything else we need to discuss today? So this is a little bit short, but maybe we just go a bit short with this one because we were almost done. But I'm glad that we spent the extra time to, we didn't rush through the adventure site location. So I'm going to mark off over here that we have now done Mausritter. Maybe we look at that Jacquesing a dungeon tomorrow. That might be a good one to look at. I've got the pages up about it, so maybe that would be a good one to go through. Kobold Press. Oh, we do still have Kobold Press's dungeon design. They sent that to me. And actually, we haven't actually looked at what Kobold Press's Black Flag playtest release number 2 is either. So that's something to do. I suppose we should check that out at some point. Sable Phoenix says, absolutely you could. Reflavoring is easy, but again, judging a book by its cover is totally a thing. That's why I never looked at it before. I'm already designing a cyberpunk version of Mausritter in my head. I wonder if I should use the rules. I wonder if I should use some of them for the Tales of Rapavania. All right. Well, I think we are going to wrap up a little bit early today. It's not like I've got don't have tons of stuff to do, like clean, and I've got to cut grass and things like that as well. I got other things I got to do sitting here at the computer. But again, like I said, I'm trying to feel good about tomorrow going and seeing John Wick. Totally use them for Rapavania. So that might be another one that I have to do because I was looking at I've been trying to put some fifth edition rules in there, and it's okay, but we will see. Yep. Thank you, Mike. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button and join us on the Ravenkeep Discord. If you hear, let me put the Ravenkeep Discord link in here. So if you find this Ravenkeep Discord, you can come and join us. All right, everybody. Well, have a fantastic day. Be creative, be productive. And until I see you in the morning, grind on.